My father, Russel, worked for 911 Chicago for 20 years. At his work, 14 people have been diagnosed with corona. My dad was concerned about the conditions at work. All that was done was hand sanitizer was put on the desk. My father is an essential worker, so he continued to work. My dad showed symptoms of fatigue, lack of taste, and coughing, and in the last couple days he had trouble breathing. My dad passed on March 29th due to complications of corona. I was not able to see my father until 10 days after he passed, and it was just me in masks and gloves, and I only got 10 minutes to say my goodbye, and I didn't get to spend the last days of my dad's life with him. We don't get to have a memorial for my father. We don't get to have a funeral. Everything that you would normally do to grieve, we don't get to do. My dad deserved to live a lot more life than he did.
Hannah, let me say, as I said to Kelly, I am so very sorry for your loss. I can't even imagine. And you said that he remained at home and then he basically passed away during the ride to the hospital. Is that right?
On Sunday the 29th, he was struggling at home, and he was struggling to breathe at home along with other of the flu symptoms, and my mom called the ambulance, and on the way to the hospital, he flatlined.
And you were only able to spend 10 minutes with his body before they cremated him. And um, I'm sorry that you were robbed of that time. If you knew then what you know now, and you were with your dad, what would you have said to him? What would you have wanted him to know?
Ugh. I mean, if I knew that he was suffering of coronavirus, I would have been home sooner. I would have spent every second I could with him. Um, I would want to express to him how loved he was by all his family members, and just how grateful I am and was for him. And he was the most wonderful, hardworking, dedicated father who gave my siblings and I the space to be who we were and are, and he supported us endlessly. And I would just want him to know how appreciated he was, and I wish I could have spent more time with him.
And you were living in Los Angeles at the time, correct?
I moved to LA in November, and so I came the second I heard the news on Sunday, because again, I didn't know the severity of all of this, and so I've been feeling a lot of guilt for not being here with him in his last week, and, um, I I just wish I could have been here sooner.
It's so easy to look at in hindsight and say, wow, if I'd have known, I would have, but of course there's no way to know. And Kelly, you certainly understand her pain of not being able to be there, which is the same thing you experienced. What would you say to Hannah?
Sweet Hannah, I would say that your dad knew how much he was loved. He gave you the space, the opportunity to grow and be who you were. And he will always be proud of you. And it's evident in what he was able to do for your siblings by giving you that opportunity for growth, how much he loved you. Don't ever, ever forget that, please.
Kelly, even though you were there, you didn't have much access to your parents because of the lockdown. And, Hannah, you know that there were such restrictions that had you known it was coronavirus and had you been there, as Kelly experienced, there would have been a lot of restriction on your ability to be with him.
I am blessed, and I'm grateful that, I that my mom was with him and he wasn't alone, and, um, I guess it's hard to process. I would've I for his sake, I would've wanted to have been there every second.